there's 100,000 things going on here.
Hard Rock.
And I've been looking into getting a God complex. I hear they're like all the raves.
Hard Rock.
Aren't you glad you tuned in today?
Hard Rock.
That's what we do here in the Hard Rock Lunchbox. As disgusting as it may seem to most people, just, it's what entertains me.
Hard Rock.
We don't let people die in the streets in this country, which I still believe, but I also don't think that, everyone has to get Velveeta, right? That's the good cheese, right?
Hard Rock.
Dude, the first cars had a goddamn crank in front of it. You think any of these f***ing white pussies are gonna get out of their car in the winter and crank up their car? Of course not. They'd probably buy a black man and make him do it.
Hard Rock Lunchbox.
Greetings and salutations. How's everybody doing today? It is time for another Hard Rock Lunchbox. Yep, I can't believe it either. Here we are in year 9, still doing this stupid show, which honestly says a lot more about you than it does about me, but probably a lot more about me also. Everything sounds weird today. What's going on? Something's different. Did you get a limb? Little Monsters Inc. there. I think my sound's all messed up because I was working on new material this week, and that tends to screw everything up. And I moved everything out of the way because, I'm just out of here. I'm creating now. I create and then I just kind of move everything away. I was actually doing a lot of stuff. I had a new song I was working on. I was able to do some vocals to that, voicing a audio drama part. I had that. I will say my trusty recording studio portable laptop is getting a lot of work, and it did not expect that, I'm sure, because that was not the plan when I got it. It was like, yo, dude, I can't do extra work today. I was like, too bad, man. Suck it up, Elite Book, or whatever the hell you are. Yeah, Elite Book. You're going to be doing that kind of stuff. So, here we are back at it again, as Jeremy would say. And I gotta tell you, I've had this, not that you asked, thank you, very little, but I've had this headache for, I think, it's definitely at least the 2 days now. And it's one of those ice pick ones. It's going right in this side, but it's being caused by strain in my upper back and my neck, and I've kind of really tried to work it out, but to no avail. I think has a lot to do with how I'm sitting. They always tell you, right? They always tell you that. It's how you're sitting. Because I didn't really have any major trauma, and I wasn't, warming up for my season with the Giants, so I wasn't, getting any of that. I basically just moved from one sitting position to another, so I think I'm starting to hunch over. Also, if you're cool like I do, you carry a lot of your stress right there, because it turns out you can put a lot of stress on your shoulders if you know what you're doing. Let me just check in with the chat here, because it sounds super weird to me. Does it not sound weird to anybody else out in the chat world? 99WNRR.com. You can be part of the conversation. You can also be part of the analysis of said sound. It's sounding very troubly to me, and I don't know. I don't think I did it. I mean, listen, there's 100,000 things going on here. I could have done a lot of stuff, but zero sound issues. Thank you. I will continue on, and I will just suffer in silence, knowing that the sound is indeed off, and no one but me is being tortured by it. So that's good. That works for me, because I'm here for you people. I'm here for you good people. I'm here for you bad people, but mainly you good people. You good people know who you are, right? I'm not going to go as far as to say the chosen people, but you're definitely my chosen people, and I think that ought to count. And I've been looking into getting a God complex. I hear they're like all the rage, so maybe that's how we start. Maybe not. But it's time for some housekeeping. You know what it is? It just sounds like this is just a much hotter microphone. You can't hear me from here, so that's probably pretty good. So it's definitely So what we have here is and I'm not unboxing anything, but we have a Shure SM57B, which means it's a unidirectional microphone, which means as I get closer to the apex of the microphone, then it should get louder, because it should not be picking up so much over here. I don't know why it is. I think maybe I'll switch to my Rode. But this is a much cooler looking microphone. But like if I could... Well, turns out I can't. I was going to wrap something around it, because if I could cover it like that... But you hear that? That really intensifies the sound of everything. Check. Aren't you glad you tuned in today? But that gives it the warmth that a voice as boomy as mine should enjoy. Because I could just make it really small, and then it's like, are we reaching? Hello? Apollo 11? Hello, 99 WNRR. Because now it sounds like I'm on a phone, but now it sounds better. I could just talk into the side like this all day. It's me, Luther Van Perlman, on the night. Right? We could do like that deep FM. It's your night bird. It is I, Luther. Womp, 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 womp. You know, sometimes I forget I actually have an audience to be responsible for, or two. Not for. I'm not, well, listen. I've definitely signed some paperwork maybe I shouldn't have, but I definitely feel responsible too. But every now and then when I do, like when I'm in this kind of zone, like it's hey, just you and me. Like I just want you to know, like if you're enjoying yourself, that's fine, but that is 100% for my enjoyment, and I'm willing to take you along on the ride. Yes. That's what we do here on the Hard Rock Lunchbox. As disgusting as it may seem to most people, just, you know, it's what entertains me. Like, I could definitely do the whole show. Like, it's time for your weekly craving of the week. Whoa. It's not the same. I have to slow it down. Find a heavy-set black man and sing it. Hello, baby. Whoa. See, that's... Now it's gross. So I've soiled it. Housekeeping. Stop distracting me. There's a brand new top 20 video out today. Should surprise nobody. It also should occur to nobody, since only 10 people are apparently watching. Still, but that's up from 7. So you know what? Hang on. It's always Haven't done one of those in a while. I lost my tornado siren. Oh no, there it is. All right. You guys still like that? Yeah, I didn't think so. That's cool. Yeah, I soiled it. I know. Brand new top 20. I talk about why you don't look for pizza in towns with no Italians. It sounds racist, but it isn't. It's more like a... what's the book? Is it the Green Book? I'm just drawing a blank. They had the Green Book where back in the 60s, where it was basically safe for African Americans to travel to some places and not safe. So I think it was the Green Book that let people know, like, where you could go. But I also talk about Rage Against the Machine a little bit, and I talk about why society kind of fears change. I try and speak some Spanish badly, stuff like that. But, yeah. But, I still have a TBD on my Dirty Deeds video that Revel 9 is going to be releasing. I did, however, release, I think I said last week, I released the performance of Keep You Near from the first annual Bimpy Awards, which I'm sure all of you watched. If not, the link for the Bimpy Awards is in the video, but you can just run on over to Revel 9. Revel 9 Band, yeah, youtube.com/Revel 9 Band will get you to all your Revel 9 needs, including that new video. I appreciate the likes so far. And the views, of course. But that's really just setting us up for other stuff. And other interesting Revel 9 video music news. I have not heard back from the people that are working on the lyric videos for Blue and Easy, which, considering it was almost supposed to be ready about 2 months ago, I just haven't heard from them. And I know it's a little morbid to think, but like in this day and age, you kind of wonder if people just like up and died from like something like COVID or monkeypox. But I feel like she's just a little bit more irresponsible, and maybe that's just... You know, I'm just got to wait to hear. Somebody I got to email 20 times before I get before I get a response. And that is not unusual in this day and age. I don't know if anybody that works in like those sort of situations where you're depending on other people to respond to you and stuff like that, but it really is just it's like a plethora of like, yeah, fuck it, I don't feel like doing my job today, which is a very millennial trait, by the way. And it's not just me saying that, like statistically, like, and I can go anecdotally if you want. There's a lot of stuff like that where millennials are like, I just don't feel like doing it, and they just don't show up like one day, and they're like, yeah, I don't care, don't pay me. Like, you don't have any sick days, that's fine. I just didn't want to work today, and which is like an ethic and like ethos that I don't even understand from my upbringing, but it's not uncommon, so I'm not terribly surprised. In BIMP news, if you're so inclined to BIMP, as in do you BIMP? Should you BIMP? Would you BIMP? There's a full interview with Josh from Glasslands. And then Jeremy and the Harlequins, who I don't know, 7 questions. It came out last night. I'll be checking that out sometime later this week, so feel free to check out all things Bacon is on Bacon is my podcast, also on Stranger Hit TV, where you can find your top 20, in case you missed it, or you want to see what that absolutely disgusting thing I just did with the microphone looks like on video, and who wouldn't want to do that. Playing again with the set. I think I'm just going to dump this banner. I think that's the problem. I think it's too reflecty. I think it's too vinyl. I think it's very Bee Gees, or maybe even some Elvis. And I think I'm just going to go with maybe some black curtains. I did change the lighting. I didn't turn it off because I realized it was definitely a look, but it was very like Stockholm Syndrome, because it was like super lighting. I felt like I was in a bunker. Felt very Mariah Carey, actually, giving out secret messages, and I don't think that this show needs that. I'm trying to be more appealing, not less appealing. God has already made me less appealing, so I don't really need to add to that, because his perfection is majestic. That's something I feel like I read in the Bible, or was told by somebody that truly believes in what they're saying. Yeah, man. I don't even know what to talk about today. I had a couple things I was going to talk about earlier in the week, and for the life of me, I cannot remember them. I will say that I was watching, I caught the news, not to get super political, but I caught the news this morning. Just briefly, I watched 2 stories. I watched the thing in Florida where Charlie Crist, who was the former governor of Florida as a Republican a few years ago, did some stuff that I wasn't super thrilled about, but I think it's showing kind of where politically the country is going, that he is now running as a Democrat for the governor of Florida. He's currently a congressman. I think he was a senator. I honestly forget, but he's currently a congressman. And he switched parties, and he said something, the woman had asked, he's like, what, you left the Republican Party, like, what do you kind of expect? And he was like, I didn't leave the Republican Party. The Republican Party left me. And he talks about, like, the rise of the Tea Party. And I don't know how many people were interested in politics during that time, like, kind of like during the rise of the Tea Party. But it was beyond ridiculous. Like, some of the candidates they were running were just dumber than the next. And they were just evil and evil and evil. And it's funny because they really don't hold a candle to the subgeniuses that you got right now. I mean, today's Republican Party is absolutely unbelievable, with people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz when he's not busy fucking a teenager over state lines, and that fucking bimbo from Colorado that's just like talking about like how much gun violence there is over in Europe, and Europe has to be like, yeah, we've had it one time, and it's not helping that all you guys in America are doing is gun violence, gun violence, gun violence. And honestly, my take at this point is like, since we're allowing everybody to have guns, I feel like there should be a lot less gun violence, right? I was told by very reliable sources on the right that all these good citizens were going to rise up and defend us because they were armed. And so far, I've only seen the one dude that shot some guy in a mall. And yeah, he got that one right. But, what about the guy that shot the security guard a couple years ago because he thought the black security guard was actually the one causing a problem instead of the white guy he was trying to restrain? But that's neither here nor there. I really did have something I was going to talk about, but I don't really remember. I do find it kind of interesting though, because I actually had, I remember what it was. I was going to talk about the new loan forgiveness that the Biden administration just came out with, and but what I was going to say is, like, I actually had a real honest to God question that I wanted answers to, and I didn't know where to go, so I actually wanted to see what some of the people I argue with on Facebook or have argued with on Facebook over the previous couple of years would have to say on it. And I was asking a question about immigration because, as you know, or if you don't, you should, the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, fuckhead that he is, instead of dealing with the migrant problem at the southern border, since he blames Biden for absolutely everything, which, granted, immigration is a top-level issue for sure. They seem to think that there were no migrants under Trump, but they were in detention centers and cages, and we were still paying for them then. But I guess that was okay because I don't know why. I don't even have a sarcastic reason why, but in Abbott's unbelievable stupidity, he's decided to rent buses with the money from Texas taxpayers, which you guys, that's what you voted for. And they're driving migrants up to New York City and basically dropping them off at the Port Authority, which was completely a stunt, and he was just pissed at Adams. And that's, it's a move, like. But, my initial take on it is, like, seriously, like, New York City's never seen an immigrant before? I mean, like, how do you think people got here, like, in the last century, dipshit? Like, anyway. But my issue with it, kind of is like, well, this all costs money, and I would like to see some sort of accountability and some sort of oversight onto this. Now, there's a lot of Catholic charities that are donating the money to help these migrants, and I think it's because Latin America is overwhelmingly Catholic, and honestly, that makes a little bit of sense, right? Take care of your own, like, that's kind of like an American way, like, that open arms shit, like America has never been open arms. Like, we just be quite clear about that. Like, where do you think half of the racial stereotypes and slurs come from? They come from America, mainly the Lower East Side, as waves of Europeans came in. You think all those really cool nicknames for Italians and, the Irish and the Jews and the Germans, like, you really think that just, like, didn't come from anywhere? No, man. It came from just south of Houston Street in New York City. Like that's where that came from. Like, nobody made up, like, names in Texas. Like, nobody gives a shit. And also, let's not forget that, like, we stole Texas, right? Texas is Mexico, so, the one dude has that one joke about all the Mexicans in, like, Southern California, and he's like, why don't you go back to where you came from? And he's like, well, listen, I am where I came from. You guys just took it over, so there's that. I think it's Ralphie May. No, Louis, not Ralphie May. Joey Diaz. That's Joey Diaz's joke. I'm trying to give proper credit. But my point is that, like, this all costs money, and I was wondering, like, what are the solutions coming from the right that apparently the left is just ignoring? Because I realize that the ultra left are like, let everybody in, everybody deserves a chance. Like, hold on. Because there literally is stuff like housing issues. Like, we're not trying to populate, like, Wyoming, right? Which honestly would be really funny. Because that's fine by me. I mean, Wyoming is so fucked up, like, they only have one congressman because they don't have enough space. Now, I think Vermont is like that too, right? Because they just don't have enough people. No, sorry. They don't have enough people. Whatever I just said about Wyoming, it's about they don't have enough people there to justify more than one congressman. So that they have that in Vermont, maybe even Alaska. But they still have 2 senators because every state gets 2 senators. So the minority can hold the majority from doing anything. So there's that. But, like, yeah, we could populate Wyoming and just balance it out. But no, we're going to drop them in a city, the world's largest city, or the country's largest city with 8 million people, and we're just going to throw more people in it. So even just at a bare minimum, like, there's shelter space that people are complaining about, like the homeless in New York City. Like, well, we can't fill it with people from other places either. Like, we need to kind of come up with a solution for that. And, of course, there's always money and social services. And I am definitely starting to swing a lot more conservative on the social services aspect of things because there's just no responsibility coming at this point. And honestly, I think it's becoming a bit too much. And that might sound surprising coming out of my mouth, given, like, my very kind of, we don't let people die in the streets in this country, which I still believe. But I also don't think that, like, everyone has to get Velveeta, right? Like, that's the good cheese, right? Velveeta, everybody? Sorry, Brie? I don't know. I'm not a big cheese eater. But, like, I was curious, like, what exactly, like, we should do. Like, I'm open to ideas, and it's literally the beginning of a discourse and a discussion, and zero of those people on the right, or people that I've argued with, had anything to say. And Bill was actually up there. Bill seems to be kind of like ideologically aligned with me on at least most things, or things that we've conversed so far. And, you know, him and I basically were just having a conversation about how nobody has any real ideas, because there really aren't any. So, like, it brought me to thinking, like, if your only idea is to just oppose what the other party has to say, like, that you're an idiot, and you're basically the problem. And not basically, you're entirely the problem, because that doesn't solve anything. Like, I understand that people don't like Trump. I understand that people don't like Biden. I got news for you. I don't like either of them. So it's really easy to just bash things and bash, you know, that and bash this and stuff like that. But, like, how about a solution? Like, I know, like, here in New York, like, Lee Zeldin is running for governor. He doesn't stand a chance, mainly because he's a Republican in a Democratic state, but he's also wrong on pretty much every single issue, because he is. Like, read the fucking room, dude. Like, he wants to, like, he's definitely, like, walking back to restricting a woman's right to choose, but he's not interested in codifying, you know, the right to abortion in the New York State Constitution, which honestly is what it needs, because that fight is coming, like I keep saying. But this dude also wants to have fracking in upstate New York. And it's like, dude, we've been over this. Like, fracking has basically ruined the lives of a lot of rural Pennsylvania, because Pennsylvania now, which was not once famous for earthquakes, is now famous for earthquakes. They're also able to light their water on fire from time to time because of fracking spells and stuff like that. Do we really want this in this country? And they're always just bitching about, like, well, we need energy independence. Like, okay, fracking isn't the way to do it. To try and get more of a substance that's absolutely going to run out at some point, that's proving to be dangerous all over the place, like, stop with your fucking oil, dude. We're going to run out. You're old, you're outdated. Just knock it the fuck off. Like, there's plenty of other things to do. And people are always bitching about, like, batteries and they cost this and electric cars. But how do you think progress gets made? Dude, the first cars had a goddamn crank in front of it. You think any of these fucking white pussies are going to get out of their car in the winter and crank up their car? Of course not. They'd probably buy a black man and make him do it. I mean, if there was still slavery, which apparently is something they also want. I read a lot this week. It's amazing I had a lot to say about absolutely nothing, because what I wanted to talk about was actually debt relief for students and stuff like that, which I think is a really good idea to a degree. And I kind of want to know how that's going to get paid for, because we give a lot of tax credits to a lot of people, and I'm not one of them. And I would really like to get on that gravy train, but I already paid off my student loan. I am also not a multi-millionaire. And I make too much to get free health care, and I don't make enough to start putting stuff in the Cayman Islands. So, what about me, bub? And I know that sounds awful, because it really shouldn't be about me, and it shouldn't be about any of us me's. But at some point, you kind of got to take a look at, and take stock about what's going on. And this isn't a Republican ideal. Because, believe me, the Republicans aren't about that. Republicans are all about big business tax cuts. Because they're like, it'll trickle down. Have you ever heard that phrase, trickle down? Like, all they're really saying to you is like, oh, no, we're going to give our friends a lot of money because they got us elected, and we're going to fuck you in the process. That's what trickle down means. That means trickle down your back till we fuck you really hard. And I feel like I'm using a lot of expletives today, and I really shouldn't do that. But to be perfectly honest, my tum-tum hurts a little bit, and it's just making me a little irritated. And my headache is just not stopping. And that's effectively my state of the union right now, which blows. But what are you going to do? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to listen to some Rise Against. I'm going to have some coffee, and I'm going to come back. I'm going to yell at you some more. Or yell towards you. I never yell at you. I love you guys. You're the best. Promise.